everyone. Thank you for being here today. As we prepare for the 79th Annual United Nations General Assembly, we are reminded of the vital role that collaboration plays in ensuring the safety and security of not just New York City, but that of the expected visitors from the international community. This effort would not be possible without the strong partnership between the NYPD, our federal, state, and diplomatic security partners. Together, we bring a secure environment for all attending this global event centered here in New York City. To brief us first, I would like to introduce Interim New York City Police Commissioner Thomas Donald.
Thank you, Commissioner. And I want to thank all of you for being here today. And I think it's important that you report on the outstanding work that the New York City Police Department handles in this UN General Assembly year after year after year. For 79 years, world leaders have been meeting here in New York City to discuss global policy at the UN General Assembly. And every year, the men and women of the New York City Police Department make that meeting possible. But of course, this is also a collective effort with other agencies, and that's how we accomplish our goals, working with others, which is very, very important. We have relied on partnerships throughout the years, and also I want to mention that also working with domestic and international agencies are also very, very important. And from my experience, having worked in the law enforcement community, that's also very crucial. And I know the NYPD has excellent relationships with these agencies all over the world, which is very important. I know these agencies that we will be working with. They're very talented people working in their agency, and I know a number of them very well. And the agencies I'd like to mention the Secret Service, the Diplomatic Security Service, HSI, the UN Safety and Security Services. They all play a major role. And these partners are dedicated professionals, and what's important is that they have experience handling this UN very important event throughout the years. So, we are definitely in good hands with professionals, and that's very, very important to understand that. Over the next 2 weeks, everyone here is working towards the same goal: the safety of the UN General Assembly attendees, and also the people in the neighborhood here. That's important. And also the pedestrians that we see walking through the neighborhood, to make them feel safe. To do that, the NYPD will be deploying resources across the city, involving every aspect of the New York City Police Department. Patrol officers, to Detective Bureau personnel, to special operations. And this will be a combined effort, an all-hands effort that, from my past experience, has always worked well. And I have been involved in this event throughout the years during my experience in law enforcement. You also see units from aviation, K-9, harbor, highway and traffic emergency services, and more. But as always, there will be additional security assets that you will not see, which is very, very, very important. There are eyes and ears that will be able to pick up any issues that we need to be made aware of, any suspicious activities. And we'll get into more details later on. But I can tell you right now, there are no specific or credible threats at this moment to this very important event. What I will say, with the opponents attached to the NYPD, in particular the intelligence analysts, who I worked with them for many, many years while I was with terrorist task force at the time. So they play a key role. It's very important for them to be part of this event and contribute what they can. I will also tell you that our officers will be out there day and night, keeping you safe. And I worked in the counterterrorism and intelligence field for many, many years. I served on task forces along with dozens of different agencies, and I can say the agencies that are assigned here today, I work with them, I have a personal relationship with them, which I think benefits the NYPD. And I know the dangers that we face and exactly what is at stake. But I also know that no police department, the NYPD, and I speak from my heart because I've worked with it for many years, are better equipped, are better prepared to handle these events. So the eyes of the world will be looking at us. I'm quite confident that this will be a very successful event, hopefully that will be handled by professionals in a safe and secure manner. Lastly, we urge anyone traveling through the area over the next 2 weeks to take public transportation. There will be checkpoints, street closures. So we suggest that people take public transportation if they can, because as we all know, the traffic around this area is very difficult to navigate. So I've also want to thank the community, and I've observed this many times while I worked at this event for many years, as far as the checkpoints are concerned. Those individuals fully understand that we're here to do a mission to keep them safe. And I was always surprised how they fully understood that and were very patient, and they know that we have the best concern for them and their families. And we depend on these people. And we had that program, see something, say something. But we depend on the public out there. If they see anything suspicious, tell a police officer or call 911 right away. And the eyes and the ears of the public is very, very important to us. And I can tell you from my experience, people contacting the NYPD has resulted in many cases that have been resolved in a very successful manner. So it's very, very important, and we like to stress that. So we depend on all these folks. Now, I'd like to turn it over to Special Agent in Charge of the U.S. Secret Service, an outstanding agency that I worked with for many years. It's Patrick Freeney, who was the SAC in charge of the New York office, and he's going to say a few words also. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner. Good morning, everyone. I'm Patrick Freeney, Special Agent in Charge of the New York Field Office for the United States Secret Service. Today we come together once again to announce the arrival of the United Nations General Assembly. This event is unlike any other for several reasons. First, the sheer size of it. We have upwards of 142 world leaders coming to New York City all at once. That's nearly 75% of all member states represented at the United Nations. And when you factor in spouses, the number of Secret Service protectees jumps to over 200. Simply put, this is the largest annual gathering of global leaders on the planet. And given the enormity of this event and the importance of role in global affairs, the Department of Homeland Security has given it the designation of National Special Security Event. This is significant because that designation brings to bear the highest levels of protection from across all levels of government. And this is the largest of all national special security events in the nation. That brings me to the second unique aspect about the General Assembly: repetition. In contrast to other major special security events like the DNC, the RNC, the inauguration, New York City hosts this event every year. And as an annual event, the local law enforcement and public safety community here essentially never stops preparing for it. The third aspect of the General Assembly that makes it unlike any other: the people who make up those partnerships that I just spoke about. First and foremost, at a local level, there is no partner in the world like the New York City Police Department. The Secret Service traverses the globe in the course of its work, and no one brings the commitment to the mission or the assets to fulfill it quite like the NYPD. It is also worth noting that beyond the General Assembly, the Secret Service works with the NYPD to protect world leaders 365 days a year, which is why, in my mind, we share what must be the closest working partnership between a local and federal agency anywhere. So thank you, Commissioner Donlin, and your incredible team. Of course, our work relies on so many hands, from Homeland Security investigations to the Transportation Security Administration, including the Federal Air Marshals, the United States Coast Guard to the Federal Bureau of Investigation, and so many others, including the terrific partners who join us here today. As the General Assembly ramps up in the days ahead, I want everyone to know that the members of the Secret Service, along with this incredible team, will be hard at work, ensuring the highest level of security for our protectees. An operation of this size will inevitably cause disruptions around the city. Please know, we are very mindful of the 8 million New Yorkers whose lives do not simply stop because the General Assembly is in session. We appreciate your patience over the next week. And as you move around the city, like the Commissioner said, if you see something, please say something. Thank you. I would now like to introduce the Special Agent in charge of the Diplomatic Security Service, Brian Wood. Brian.
Thank you, Pat. Good morning. I'm Brian Wood, the Special Agent in charge of the Diplomatic Security Service New York Field Office. The Diplomatic Security Service is a law enforcement and security bureau of the Department of State, and the UN General Assembly is one of our biggest protection missions each year. During this year's UN General Assembly, the Diplomatic Security Service will coordinate with dozens of law enforcement partners to secure this event. More than 700 DSS personnel will help protect approximately 40 foreign dignitaries as they focus on important global issues. We welcome the opportunity to work with our law enforcement partners and help advance U.S. foreign policy and national security interests here in New York and around the world. On behalf of the Diplomatic Security Service, I wish to extend my sincere appreciation to the New York Police Department, the United States Secret Service, the United Nations Department of Safety and Security, the U.S. Marshal Service, the Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, Firearms, and Explosives, and all of our federal, state, and local law enforcement and emergency first responder partners for their excellent support and collaboration. Together, we will create a safe and secure environment for the 79th session of the UN General Assembly. This time I'll now turn over to Chief Michael Brown with the United Nations Department of Safety and Security.
Good morning to everybody. My name is Mick Brown. I'm the Chief of Security and Safety Service here at United Nations headquarters. Our 300-strong service is in advanced stages of preparation for the 79th UN General Assembly. In undertaking these preparations and in executing the forthcoming security operation, we do so in close coordination with our partners at federal, state and host city level. And we are most grateful to these agencies for the critical support which is provided to the United Nations. I would also like to avail of this opportunity to express my sincere gratitude to Commissioner Gondon for the outstanding support which NYPD provides to the UN Security and Safety Service, not alone during the UN General Assembly, but indeed throughout the entire year. This is a collaborative operational partnership which we truly value and greatly appreciate. Thank you for the opportunity to be here, and I would now like to hand over to Chief Philip Rivera of NYPD's Transportation.
Thank you, Chief. Good morning. Effective traffic management during major events such as the UN General Assembly requires strategic planning, real-time adaptability, and collaboration amongst various stakeholders. We have been planning for months, but even the best laid plans can encounter challenges. We certainly empathize with the residents, workers, and businesses affected by this annual event. Nevertheless, New Yorkers are resilient, and if provided with the proper information, they can minimize the disruptions to their everyday routines to the best extent possible. We are implementing our traffic plan at 5 a.m. this Sunday, September 22nd, a day earlier than usual, to coincide with the United Nations Summit of the Future, which many heads of state will attend. Hopefully, a teleportation plan will be on the table for the Summit of the Future, and traffic is a thing of the past. Unfortunately, we're not there yet. To minimize traffic shutdowns, expedite numerous delegations, and keep safety as our top priority, we will have dedicated escort lanes that will be in operation from 5 a.m. to approximately 7 p.m. every day from this Sunday, September 22nd, through Friday, September 27th. These lanes will be on 42nd Street and 5th Avenue from 42nd Street and 57th Street from 5th Avenue to 2nd Avenue. Cones will be placed down the center of the roadway to allow for medium and high-level escorts to travel east and west in the cone lane. The escort lane will reduce 42nd and 57th Streets to one lane of traffic in each direction. On 2nd Avenue, from 42nd Street to 57th Street, there will be a cone lane on the east side of the street for medium and high-level escorts. 2nd Avenue will have 3 lanes of traffic moving south, with no parking allowed between 42nd Street and 57th Street. There will be no eastbound turns from 2nd Avenue onto 42nd Street through 46th Street. The upper part of 1st Avenue from 40th Street to 49th Street will be a frozen zone. From Sunday, September 22nd, approximately 11 p.m. Friday, September 27th. Only emergency and official vehicles will have access. Pedestrian access will be limited to residents, workers, and others conducting official business. The 1st Avenue Tunnel will have 3 lanes running northbound. One lane of the eastern tube of the tunnel will be utilized as a 2-way bike lane, with traffic barriers and chains separating the lanes. No trucks will be allowed through 1st Avenue, through the tunnel. 42nd Street from 2nd Avenue to the FDR eastbound will be frozen, and westbound 2nd Avenue to the FDR will open after approximately 7 p.m. each day. As with any significant event, we strongly encourage mass transit, or if possible, please avoid the area altogether. Due to the high level of security associated with this event, intermediate pedestrian freezes and traffic shutdowns will occur. The Deputy Commissioner of Public Information's Office will release this traffic plan and additional street closures near hotels where dignitaries may be staying. Last, but certainly not least, please respect our hard-working traffic agents for the difficult job they do. It is not easy standing out there for hours on end dealing with everyone's desire to move along quickly. Please cooperate with their directions so we can expedite traffic for all. Thank you.
Thank you, Chief. With that, we'll open it up to on-topic questions.
All right, folks, we're going to take some on-topic questions. We're going to start with NJ Burkett, WABC.
Every year, we learn from the previous year. We've added a couple of added security measures.
Well, obviously, NJ, what's changed from this year from last year is obviously October 7th. So as you well know, this agency's handled upwards of 4,000 protests since October 7th. That changes the dynamic of UN General Assembly. But we been handling this every day, about 12 protests a day. We will keep people safe. We will allow people to exercise their First Amendment. But the message here is clear. Why do you protest? If you think you're going to damage property, light flares, disrupt our community, take our streets, we can do everything in our power as the largest police department in this nation to put you behind bars. Everything in our power. So that's a change in the dynamic of the protest. But we're ready. We have 12 protests today ready. They're already handling. We are the best in the business at doing this.
I'm going to go to Nicole Johnson, 611.
Hello, Nicole.
I want to just back to what the chief was saying about the protesters. We've seen them in the city since also there's been 2 attempts on former President Trump's life. Does that concern you any? And talk specifically about some of the measures taken to secure the technology.
Okay, I think the question was in regard to protesters.
Good morning, everyone. So there's 2 aspects of this. And as you point out, this is something that we do every year. You're seeing some of many other agencies who work on this 365 days a year to get to this point. So there's the coordination, there's the partnership. Each agency brings a special expertise to the table. And the real meat of it, getting all of the delegations around the city, protecting the sites, protecting the people, is well familiar. The threat environment, as Chief Sheldon just alluded to, is quite different this year than it was last year. And so part of our preparation falls very heavily in the intelligence realm, trying to anticipate where the major disruptions might come from. So that's one piece, and that's something that we do, again, all day, every day, regardless of the UN General Assembly. Also, we know that things will pop up that we may not have anticipated. There will be surprises, and so having the flexibility and the mobility to move resources around to address them becomes incredibly important. As you point out, there are 2 regional wars, one which has widened, deepened, and intensified this week. There is political instability, there has been political violence, and not just in our country, around the world. There's deep-seated polarization. So these are all threats that we look at very carefully in coordination with our partners to figure out how to tailor our resources most effectively to deal with them. And then for the surprises, we have the mobility to deal with those in real time.
We're going to move over to ABC News, Aaron Thurston.
Hold on, before we go to Aaron, Commissioner Field, you add on some of the technology?
Yeah, thank you. Thank you, Nicole, for the question. Recently, the former President Trump visited Brooklyn. When he visited Brooklyn, our team did a walkthrough with the site agent, Secret Service, and other federal officials. Obviously, we know what happened in Pennsylvania. We deployed the drone up there. The drone was looking for any anomalies, any crawl spaces that maybe the site agent or the officers, while they were doing the walkthrough, might have missed. In the event that there is protest that happens, or we anticipate a lot of protests happening, we're going to have our joint operations that is going to be open, and every head of the agencies that you see behind me from the federal agencies they will have a representative in our joint operations center. And we'll have our drones deployed as well as multiple cameras, and as well as cameras that we put up in anticipation of some of the locations where we anticipate protests at. The cool thing about the technology with the drones this year is that I can send Patrick a link to the drones that he can watch real time of the protests occurring, and maybe he may need to make additional, put additional resources there, or make any recommendations for his team. So we are using technology. I'm not going to go into exactly each technology that we are using. There's some technology that you will see, and there's some technology that you will not see.
Next question was from Aaron Katersky. Aaron's question had to do in regard to the term no specific threat. Commissioner.
Yeah, there are always terms of art in our jargon, and that one is an important one, and it's an important one to keep because sometimes there are specific and credible threats to a particular event. But you are touching on something really important, which is the chaoticness and the diversity and the unpredictable nature of the threat environment. And we are united as an intel community, the state, the federal level, in assessing that these are very different times, and you all report on the outcome of those threats daily. So the threat environment has certainly changed in ways that require us to anticipate and deal with a multiplicity of issues. The formal foreign terrorist organizations that we have been, certainly in the post-9/11 context, but including now, arraying resources against for decades are still alive and well. And then you have a lone actor environment, which again is quite robust. You have the October 7th effect, which has created ripples around the world and across ideologies that we are dealing with. Luckily, the tools that we have built and practiced on, again as an interagency body over the last 2 decades, are malleable and they're quite effective at dealing with whatever threat presentation we have. We just have to make sure that we lean into our partnerships and that we lean into our ability to work.
We're going to move over to the AP.
Next question is from Michael Sizek, AP. Okay, his question is, how have threats evolved year after year?
Okay, so what again is interesting and notable at this moment is it's not an evolution in the way of having one threat materialize, ascend, and then abate, and another one taking its place. Really, you've got all of the threats all over the world materializing at the same time, and that's the unique challenge of the moment. But again, we have dealt with each of these individual threats a lot over the last several decades, and especially over the last 2. And so the tools, the partnerships, all of the responses to them are familiar to us. We just have to walk and chew gum at the same time, and we have proven quite effective at doing that over the last year, but the challenge is going to remain.
We'll go to Matt. We're going to answer your first question. First question was, is security this year being tightened?
Yeah, I'm not going to answer the second question. I'll write the first question. Of course, security is being tightened. General Assembly, in general, is a high-value target event, but we have protests we've got to deal with. And like I said, we're up to 4,000 this year in 11 months. That's the difference here. Okay, the second question we're not going to answer.
And the answer to the second question is, the answer is no. We're not being restricted from any information. All the executives that you see here are getting the intel briefs, and if you have the top level security clearance or the secret clearance, you will get briefed on certain different things. But the answer is no to the second question.
No one in the department at all.
Next question. Thank you.
Tom Winter?
Sure. I don't know if this is for the police department or the Secret Service, but can you talk about the collaboration between the state and your local security services and what's going on here in New York, given the fact that we have a number of world leaders coming to the war zone? How often are you in communication with them, and what's the concerns that they made to you?
All right, his question is our communication with our partner agencies.
And Tom, your question is in relation to foreign security? Yeah, so part of the advanced process is every foreign head of state, head of government that falls under the Secret Service that advanced process, we meet with the local mission here and their representatives, to include security representatives, and we build out our plan in conjunction with them. And so it's not only what they share, but it's also what's available open source as well, right? I think everyone can agree that there's been a global uptick in political violence, and that's what we're aware of, and that's what we bring forward to when we're planning out these visits and how to address that, and just a good understanding of what that threat stream looks like. We do take in their concerns. We do listen to what concerns they have and knowledge that they have that they bring here. But it's both. It's working with that foreign security detail, but it's also our own intelligence that we receive as far as what's going on globally. And that's how we shape our security details.
Do we have any other questions? Nicole Johnson, 611. Nicole's question was Commissioner Donovan's previous law enforcement experience.
When I began my law enforcement career, I was assigned to the Joint Terrorist Task Force in New York City. And I can tell you that three of my mentors were first-grade detectives that were assigned to that squad. And one of the things I've learned, you have to listen and learn. And as far as my position now, I'm very fortunate that I have tremendous staff here, with the chiefs, the inspectors, and others, and I listen to what they say. I don't operate in a vacuum. You know, that word team concept many times, but I truly believe in that. And I will not make a decision until I hear all the facts and understand it. So they play a huge role with my position, and I think many of you should understand a number of these individuals, quite a number, you know, they're highly educated, graduate degrees, law degrees, smart people, tremendous amount of experience, and I'm very fortunate to be with them and, you know, developing an open relationship with them. And as they say, I don't operate in a vacuum. That's not my style. And before the decision's made, I will meet with all the chiefs, get their opinion, because I just arrived. A tremendous amount of experience. I'm learning, you know, the inside operation of the NYPD, but it's always been an outstanding relationship with NYPD throughout my career, and that will continue on. And that's what I would like to express that to all of you. Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner. Since we have no further questions, thank you everyone for your time and attention. Have a great rest of your day.